It is day 2 of Best Ball Mania 5. Had to give the people what they want. Some people asked for a night stream. Nick Beauclage is first. This is now our tradition. If you are the first commenter, you're getting highlighted. Shout out Nick. All right, gang. It's time to rip a draft and talk some best ball. You're in the right place. Let's get it. I am your host, Liam Murphy, the only 3-time NFL best ball champion. I'm in the draft, guys and girls. The 0.5% of women that subscribe to the channel. But if you don't want to miss a draft, there's a couple things you should do. First, click on the subscribe button. Second, turn on that bell. Turn on the notification bell. Third, join my Discord. The link to join is in the YouTube description below. And guys and girls, we pulled the 101 for this draft. I have my rankings in here. My best ball site is ready. It is launching tomorrow. I worked hard on it. It's going to be ugly. I do have CeeDee Lamb as my 101. I am going to take CMC only because I have no CMC so far. I have taken 10. I think this is like my 9th Best Ball Mania, maybe my 8th. I only have picks 1 through 5 so far. I only have picks 1 through 5. I don't have a single pick 12, 11, 10, 9. I don't have any back end of the drafts. And that is a bummer because I really want some starts from the 12/13 hole, 12/11. I mean, yeah, we got friends in here. We got Eric in here. Some others. CeeDee Lamb is my 101 because I think CMC is a riskier pick in the sense that he has more competition for touches and he's a running back who has a bunch of career touches. I still think he's worth a pick at the 1, at the 2, because you're not going to get any of him if you don't. And if he remains healthy and escapes injury, he'll smash. So, my best ball site, it's going to be ready. It's going to be ugly, but it has ranks ready. It has articles ready. And so I'm excited. I'll debut that more tomorrow. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at ChessLiam. Same as the username here. Let's zoom in here for you guys. Why not? We're a man of the people here. Rankings to start the contest, they change quick. I'm very happy with my rankings right now. The first big inflection point is when we get the NFL schedule. Rankings. That's right. What's really nice and why I've never imported ranks in the past is Underdog now allows you to toggle between ranks and ADP. And I mean, I touch on this in the article, but you should not strictly draft off of ranks for many reasons. But an example is like one of the worst ADPs out there to me is Troy Franklin. Like, why does I have Troy Franklin ranked in like the 180s, which I feel is appropriate. His ADP is 130. Troy Franklin was, let me pull this up. I mean, he's literally one of the worst ADPs out there to me. Maybe he'll be a great pick in best ball. However, to me, Denver is one of the offenses we want the least exposure to in the sense that, okay, they have a rookie. I'm into that. However, they got the 6th best quarterback, if we believe the NFL, as far as quarterbacks go this year. And Troy Franklin, this is the amount of wide receivers that went ahead of Troy Franklin in the draft, who people were high on. Troy Franklin was the one of the first picks of the 4th round, meaning 16 wideouts went ahead of him in the real NFL draft, and a solid 6 get drafted way out after him. Josh, what's going on? Josh is a YouTube member. If you too want to become a YouTube member, click the join button. You will get a link to, or you will be able to join if you message me. And once I find out how to automate this, a special Discord. Shout out Josh for supporting the channel. I feel the need to talk about Kyren Williams. Kyren Williams' ADP is falling 100%. He might even fall into the 3rd round. I would have taken him there. He goes. Let's take Mike Evans and Debo. Let's sort this by my ranks. Yeah. Debo and CMC is, I don't mind doubling up the 49ers. People still think a trade might happen for Ayuk or Debo. I'm not so sure about that. Like, the 49ers are trying to win the Super Bowl. So do the 49ers win the Super Bowl more often or less often if they trade Debo or Ayuk? Probably less often, unless they get a significant resource back this year that allows them going down to Ricky Pearsall to be worth it, right? Like, I don't know if they'll just trade him for future picks. What is up, Devin the dude? Devin the dude, welcome. Message me on Discord, Devin. I'm assuming you're in my Discord, and I'll add you to the premium Discord. Just message me a screenshot of you joining as a member. Michael asking, do you have time to do a second draft after this? For the sake of my relationship with my girlfriend, Michael, I do not. Sorry. Not tonight. However, I am going to be streaming more than ever this year. So you're in safe company on this channel if you're looking for high quality drafts. There are many people who have more subscribers, more followers on YouTube than me that stream fantasy football. There are not a lot of people who have had my level of success. So you're in early. You're in early if you're watching here. What's up, proper rankings? Yeah. So, I mean, huge bonus. Like, you used to, in order to import ranks, you used to have to give up the ability to see the natural ADP of a player, which I thought was just, like, frankly, not worth it for someone like me who knows my ranks roughly. But now there's no reason not to import good ranks. A big reason, a big spot I differ from the market is on the elite tight ends. They just give you such a competitive advantage. I will have an article really diving into how much of an advantage they give you. So maybe I'll rework my opinion on this. But as things stand right now, I don't want to be drafting these tight ends. The Dawson Knoxes, the Noah Fants, Chigakonkwo. Get Chigakonkwo off my screen. I don't want any of that. I want the guys who can put up 20 points in a given week. Do I plan on releasing your ranks? Of course, Josh. That will be on the site starting tomorrow. Got to release the ranks. What else am I selling? Primarily, I view myself as a game theory expert for best ball and, of course, deep NFL knowledge. The game theory, that's the reason why I got 3rd in PGA best ball. But we'll have all that on the site. The site will not be pretty to begin. I'm not going to prioritize the frills of, making it look nice. Eventually, we'll get there. But Dalton Kincaid greater than McBride? Yeah, Augustus, honestly, I'm with you on that logic. Basically, the logic is, well, hey, Dalton Kincaid is conceivably the number one target in his offense. And in almost no universe will Trey McBride be the number one target over Marvin Harrison Jr. However, I want to keep my own biases in check. And so I have him ranked after McBride. I do think they're very close. Honestly, I view all I want all of them. I want all the elite tight ends. I'm also higher on the next tier, Ingram and Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers, you can get in the 90s sometimes now. I'm not afraid of them being the Raiders offense. I swear to God, this is not my own account asking me this. How many tournaments have you done really well on? Well, Ross, we'll have a whole testimonial page, but I won the DraftKings 555. I won the DraftKings 2K 2 years ago, both of those for 300K. I won Best Ball Mania. Let's go Kincaid. Again, we love the elite tight ends. And I'm debating Kirk, who I really like Kirk. Oh, shit, we weren't even on the clock. Let's go Kincaid and Pitts. I like it. Pitts, I don't really think it makes logical sense that Drake London goes in the second round and Kyle Pitts goes in the fifth round, where if Kyle Pitts is healthy, which I guess that's part of the reason, fear, he should push Drake for target competition. Now, Atlanta's offense as a whole could disappoint because Kirk Cousins might not play. So Ross, I've won 3 NFL tournaments, 3 major tournaments, including Best Ball Mania 2. Also, the year I won Best Ball Mania 2, I think I got 5th in the puppy. Made a bunch of other finals too. Yeah, Pittsburgh, there's a lot of fear-based drafting happening right now. An example, I think, would be Achane and Kyron slides, right? Okay, so Blake Corum arrives with the Rams, and we're going to dock him in drafts because of that. However, the opportunity for Kyron to be an 80% snap guy, maybe 75% snap guy, is still there, including being dominant for by the goal line. Does anyone remember Tank Bigsby and why we slid Travis Etienne in drafts, who also I think is mispriced? I do. So yeah, is it possible Blake Corum jumps Kyron and even becomes the one? Of course that's possible. Is it possible Kyron gets hurt? Yes. Is it possible Corum is so good that Sean McVay starts doing a 2 running back rotation, which he has really never done much before? Yes, all possible. Is it quite likely that Kyron remains dominant and performs as a dominant fantasy running back on the year and could literally be the number 1 running back in all fantasy football? Yes. No, I think ETN is undervalued. I think ETN is going undervalued, not over. But last year, people were all in on Tank Bigsby, now Tank Bigsby was one of the worst running backs ever. We're going to have to get really into this, but Tanner's saying, according to last year, I don't see the advantage, and I think over the next coming years, the perception of elite tight end and their value will fall year after year due to the market of being a onesie. Yeah, the only thing, the problem with something like I did here, double tapping elite tight end, is for the fact you need to start 3 wide receivers in a given week. However, if I'm getting 15 points quite often, let's say, I don't know, 60%, 70% of the weeks, I'm getting 10 to 15 points from Kincaid and Pitts, and you're getting 5 points from Noah Fant or whatever, that's a big win for me. And then also you have to take into the fact that in previous years, you could get some real studs at the end of drafts. I don't know who to tell you, but like Jonnu Smith is not all of a sudden going to put up a 200-point season. Are there some guys? Yeah. I think Ben Sinnott could. I think Tyler Conklin could have a really good year. I think Hunter Henry could. But really quick, I don't know about that. I've ranked 243 players, which is over 20 rounds worth of drafts. Okay. Yeah, let's take it. I like Hopkins and Watson. Hopkins, I think it's quite likely he could just be touchdown dominant. And Watson, I mean, if Watson's got his hamstring situation sorted, pretty likely he could be the wideout one for Green Bay. Maybe it's Jaden Reed. Maybe it's Watson. Maybe it's Dobbs. Maybe it's a hodgepodge. We love Watson's talent for half-point PPR sites. Corum basically a clone of Kyron? Absolutely, which, I mean, maybe, and people can take that different ways. One way you could take that is, okay, they want a similar guy to Kyron so that if Kyron gets hurt, they don't miss a beat and they just load up Corum. That's a positive for Kyron. That means that if he gets hurt. The other more negative way would be these guys are so similar. Let's let them share the field. However, McVay's not done that a lot. And also, Corum is a good runner, but I don't think he was a big pass catcher in college, something that Kyron excelled at. Ross, my first article that is free on the site is basically on this subject. So I recommend you follow me on Twitter, join my Discord, watch my YouTube, whatever. And it's going to touch on this concept of, is it that important to stick to ADP? In short, absolutely not. Well, Tanner, you can play devil's advocate on anything, but you also have to keep in mind like where I think I can find value, and particularly at the launch of drafts where I think some players are undervalued at the wide receiver position included. I'm okay with it. Right? I mean, I'm getting DeAndre Hopkins and Christian Watson as my wideout 3 and 4. Both Hopkins, obviously, we have offensive concerns, but if he's not the one, he's the 2 between him and Calvin Ridley, pretty comfortably too, right? Like they're competing with Treylon Burks, maybe Kyle Phillips. The running backs are there, right? But Chigakonkwo, give me a break, right? Like, so Hopkins is locked in and is just more of a red zone force than Calvin. Neil, I've always been with Soccer Dave on the him versus Davis battle. Christian Watson or Ladd McConkey? You know, you could still get Ladd here at pick 96 quite a bit. In fact, in one of my drafts, he went like pick 10. So that kept in mind. I wanted Watson, but I have Ladd ranked high. I'm into Ladd. I think I have it like Ladd, and then I just stick all the Buffalo wide receivers together. And like, look, rankings require, it doesn't show me my rank. I could pull it up, but whatever. You'll just see tomorrow. I'm definitely in on Ladd. I also think Josh Palmer is a winner of the draft. The reason why I've stuck all the Buffalo guys together is not because you should try to take 2 of these guys in every single draft. It's to reflect the fact that it's an incredibly ambiguous situation. And yeah, obviously I'm higher on Shakir here, but I'm okay doing that. A nice thing about going McBride too is you can take advantage of the Kyler ADP. What's up, Best Ball Brian? Guys, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Keon Coleman versus Adonai Mitchell. Probably comfortably Coleman there, right? I mean, Mitchell was kind of a loser in the draft in both terms of landing spot a little bit. Like, I love Richardson, but what kind of passing volume is he putting up? I do like his skill set for best ball if he is this like Brian Thomas Jr. basically. But also he went much further. Like, we thought he was a fringe first round pick. Newsflash, he was not. So we'll probably take Brock Purdy. Jaden Daniels, you can see I have ranked at 97 as well. I think you want to be on the right side of history with Jaden Daniels. His ADP is 122. So, like, that's context of like a draft where you can push him to the 10th round. I wouldn't say you have to take him here because he will be available, especially when I'm not like streaming later sometimes. But the fact that the market goes, hey, Anthony Richardson was a 8th round pick or whatever last year. However, he played like 3 games. So I'm going to go Mostert and Brock here. How I'm playing the Miami running backs is I want to draft all of them. I think that Jalen Wright is overpriced in best ball in the sense that I don't think he sees the field unless one of Mostert or Achane gets hurt. The problem is one of Achane or Mostert is probably going to get hurt, so Jalen Wright will see the field. So I'm still down to draft him, right? And I think that's how you should approach ambiguous, valuable situations rather than being fearful and risking that you drafted a 0 in one of your drafts. Mostert age concern? I don't know, brother. He got like $12 million and he's 1 year older than he was last year. And he does not have the touches that he did have. He doesn't have the touches of a running back his age, right? He's missed a bunch of time over the course. He's probably like the leading guy for the goal line role as well. Yeah, I think it's possible that Coleman is the wideout 3. I mean, Coleman could be a bust, right? Like, we haven't seen it. I don't think he's going to be. A lot of things I've saw, like some people try to knock him for contested catch percentage, but from what I can tell from research, that's like not fair. The fact is, Keon Coleman played with Jaden Reed as like a stone cold rookie and outproduced him. That's incredible signal right there. Thoughts on the Chiefs offense being underpriced? I think the Chiefs, I think Mahomes has the best wide receiver talent he's had since Tyreek Hill was in town. Unquestioned, right? He's got Hollywood Brown. He's got Xavier Worthy. He's got maybe Rashee Rice. The problem is, I mean, Worthy's obviously a question. He was a first-round pick. Rashee Rice is a question in the sense of we don't know what his suspension will look like. And Kelsey is a question in the sense of, like, was he injured for the regular season? Were they just managing him? He did get a contract rework, but like basically it was just like a $4 million raise. It's not like a significant extension. So I think drafting, like last year, I did not draft the Chiefs offense a lot, which felt bad, but worked out really well, right? Like I didn't draft any Sky Moore. I didn't draft any Travis Kelsey in the first round. I didn't draft any Kadarius Toney. I did draft some MVS. I did draft some Rashee Rice because they were cheaper, which is how I think how you should play it. But this year, in general, I want to be buying these guys. I think Mahomes is a huge winner of the draft and just and the offseason in the sense that his weapons are and he's going like that, right? Like he won his QB3 in this draft. But I do also think that Hollywood Brown's gotten 100 targets over the past couple of years. Rashee Rice is a 100 target guy. Kelsey's a 100 target guy. It's hard to math that a little bit. No, Ross, I'm launching my own best ball site. The article and the site is not live. I'm launching it in the morning. I just feel like launching in the morning will be better than launching it at night. Probably launch sometime around noon. So I don't do any work with the 33rd team. As far as I can tell, their fantasy department folded. Am I drafting Michael Penix Jr. for best ball this year? No, I am not. And I recommend you don't either. In the sense that it is generally not worth it, right? We do want to draft players that are not being drafted. We do not want to draft players who barely move the needle when they're hit. And that qualifies for every single quarterback. Meaning, okay, let's say you hit on Michael Penix Jr. Congratulations. You got 20 points from him. Pretty good score. Great. You are the quarterback 16 in fantasy football. You didn't win the tournament. Hit the like button. Augustus is right. So I like to start. We got Brock. We got McCaffrey and Mostert. We got Mike Evans. Mike Evans is like undervalued, right? Dude's a stud. I think he should go ahead of Diggs in drafts for sure. Debo, Hopkins, Watson, Kincaid, Pitts. Okay. So clearly we're going to take Shakir there. And that's an example of like no reason for me to take that guy, even though I have him ranked high, when his ADP falls enough. Let's see here. Quarterback really dies off, so I'm considering going Herbert here and kind of hoping I get Josh Palmer. I also could go Jacoby Myers. I could go any of these running backs. I like Shaheed. I like, tier-based drafting. All these guys are in a similar tier. It's kind of just like what flavor do you want to go for? Let's go Herbert. Why not? I mean, Justin Herbert should just not go after Goff. He should not go after Kirk. He just shouldn't. Two versus three quarterback. In general, I'm more of a two quarterback guy, but it does depend. Clearly, I'm going two quarterbacks here on an 18-round site, especially. Yeah, Herbert's cheap because people, Jim Harbaugh's always run the rock, but I don't know, man. Like, their defense is still not going to be good, probably. Where it's kind of hard to run the rock when you're losing by 20. you know. Also, Justin Herbert is just an elite real life quarterback. Like, if I was starting a franchise today, Mahomes, Allen, probably like Joe Burrow, CJ Stroud, Lamar, and actually I would have Herbert ahead of Lamar as far as like winning football games. So yeah, we don't get Josh Palmer, which okay. Obviously, you generally would rather have Lad, which maybe raise it here is steaming a little bit that I took Herbert, but probably not, right? Because he already has two quarterbacks in Richardson and Daniels, a fun combo. I guess it's Quentin Johnston, who, I mean, whatever. The guy could have 4 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns. Fresh haircut. Thank you, but I don't think I got one. I think I just showered. I shaved. Maybe that's it. I cut myself, but I did shave. If I draft my first quarterback or tight end after pick 100, I will draft 3. What is wrong with that strategy? I don't think that's a terrible strategy. However, um, okay, if I pick Kyler at pick 101 and Jaden Daniels at pick 113, I'm going 2, right? Some of it's more of a feel thing. Just keep in mind, every time you take a quarterback in those later rounds, you forego the opportunity to land a Puka Nakua, a Kyron Williams, if they exist in fantasy for that year. I think I'm not hating the Patriots offense like other people. I think Drake May is a legitimate guy to gamble on. Okay. What pick are we at here? Pick 144. I love the Jerome Ford gamble. Again, this is a situation where people are just passing because they're afraid of guessing wrong between him and Chubb and whatever his face is. And let's take Xavier Legette too. A fun rookie to add to the mix. I think Baker Mayfield is also wildly overpriced in drafts, so he already went. Did he? Yeah, Baker Mayfield has an ADP of 150, closer to the 170s there. I need to move Watson down too, I think, but I mean, like, why are people taking Baker there? What has Baker done in fantasy football? I mean, pretty good year. 280 points, but no, like literally 0 rushing. He's a pass on me, from me. Unless you have Mike Evans, which I do. Baker had a 27 to 30 point week 16 last year. Okay, so we're just taking a guy who had one good playoff week and we're just like, let's go, that guy. Let me pull this up. Baker Mayfield had a 29-point game week 15 of fantasy. Do you want to guess the amount of times he went over 20 points other than that? Guess in the chat. How many times did Baker Mayfield go over 20 points in a fully healthy 17-week season? He scored 280 points on the year. How many times did he go over 20 fantasy points? Guess in the chat. Out of 17 weeks. You think he went 2 total, so 29 plus one more week? Or are you saying in addition? 3 times is close, but wrong. 5 times is close, but wrong. 4 times, boom, Jake's got it. 23.9 points, week 4 at New Orleans in the Dome. 21.4 points at Buffalo, when they got blown out playing catch up. 20.1 points, so just above, at Atlanta, and then the 29-point week. So, I don't know. Can you find 20 points a week later in the draft and pick 154? I think you can. Checking in on the squad. We got the top running backs on the Dolphins, 49ers, and the Browns. We got all the best wide receivers in the league. We got the best 2 tight ends in the football and the most underrated quarterbacks. 9, Jake. Jake, you're wildin', man. 9 times? Absolutely not. Let's look up some other guys. And by the way, I think that was a good year for Baker. So in Baker's literal best year, maybe he had a better year with the Browns, but in one of his best years ever, he eclipsed 20 points 4 times, including one score that legitimately won you a week. What up, FF Garage? One decent game against the Texans. Huh. Did I? Yeah, I remember that week 2 as far as more of the Texan side. How many points did he have that week? He only had 19 fantasy points versus the Texans. I think Rachaad White had a better week. Ray Davis, Marshawn Lloyd, Tyler Algier. Those are some guys that I tipped off yesterday on stream. They are climbing. Drake London at late first is absolute madness. Yeah, I'm having a tough time with it, especially when his teammate, who should be close in target share, goes in the 5th round and has tight end eligibility. Looks like you guys like the night streams. Who took Quentin Johnston? Who took that bag of crap? Nolly? All right. I guess we might not have. Adam Thielen gets traded to the Chargers. I don't know. I don't mind double Carolina, but we're probably not going to do it. Let's go Gibson. And yeah, I don't get many of these ADPs. Let's go Gibson. And I mean, Bucky Irving feels like a safe RB2 as far as rookies go. And Roshan requires a trade of Khalil Herbert. Let's go Thielen. Nah, we'll go DeMarcus Robinson. Just because we already have a Panther. Not really an offense I want to stack up twice. And then also, I think DeMarcus Robinson is just too cheap. And also, we get that division stack versus the 49ers. Brendan Rice is one of the last players I have ranked. Just because the room is so uninspiring. The Chargers could sign Zay Jones. Yeah, I mean, that's another huge wrench is Tyler Boyd's unsigned, Michael Thomas, Zay Jones now. What's your take on Ray Davis plus Curtis Samuel? Some of the later round bills? Well, Curtis is not really that late, right? Curtis goes in the 8th round. Ray Davis, I think, is a smash, right? Look, Latavius Murray and Ty Johnson played serious minutes for Buffalo last year. I think Ray can do all that plus. Jarvis Landry is at rookie minicamp with the Jaguars. It's not really clear to me if that's a workout for them or what. Nor is it clear to me why he's at their rookie camp, but he is. Brendan Rice looking targets to be a nepotism. Tanner, that's one of my favorite comments, brother. I needed that. Oh man. What do you guys think? I'm gonna YouTube poll that actually. I did say in the draft that I thought it would be great for a team with a young wide receiver room to draft Brendan Rice just for the sheer hope that Jerry Rice would be around your team and like mentor your wideouts. And the Chargers are like the nuts for that. They need him. All right, guys, the poll's out. It states Brendan Rice receives 60 plus targets because of nepotism. Oh man. There's absolutely no universe where Curtis Samuel is this year's Kadarius Toney. Let me be frank. Curtis Samuel is good at football. I also think Khalil Shakir is good at football. I think it's our hope that Keon Coleman and Shakir play the outside. And Curtis is your slot. Let me pull up Khalil Shakir's size. I mean, this is big enough to play outside. He's 5'11", 196. Like, that's Stephon Diggs size. God, the Raz cards used to be so ugly. Steph Diggs is 6 foot, 195. Khalil Shakir is 5'11", and 7/10. I think I don't know how to read that. And 196. Like they're the same size. Let's see if we get a picture of them. All right. I mean, this is at a bad angle, but like that's pretty similar heights right there. I would say Shakir looks taller there. So he has the size for it. Has he only been I think he's mostly played slot though. Is that good for us in fantasy if he's running more outside routes? Well, when your quarterback's Josh Allen and he will throw the ball on a frozen rope if you're open, it's good if you get open down the field, yes. If teams are keying in on Dalton Kincaid in the middle of the field and Curtis Samuel, and trying to stop the run, all things I think Buffalo will try to establish, then yeah, it's kind of conceivable that some down the field routes will be open. Has the Jalen Warren hype gone too far? I mean, he's been a faller in drafts to me. He falls he goes in the 9th round. That seems fine. I have him ranked one spot ahead of Najee. I think I could stop with 4 running backs if I felt like it. But we're probably going running back wide out here. And we even have another pick. Will Shipley. For sure. What's ADP saying? Take Will. I might have to check in on that poll as far as do I draft Brendan Rice? I think I'll take Wandale. I don't know. Him versus Demario Douglas is a toss up. Cincinnati asked, how devastating will it be if the Chiefs beat the Bills off an Xavier Worthy touchdown in the AFC Championship? Yeah, I mean, I think people are way overblowing. Like, I'm not going to answer that exact question, but I think people are way overblowing it in the sense that, look, Buffalo clearly either had a bunch of players tiered the same, or they thought Keon Coleman would not be a target by the teams, or that, or whatever. And so they didn't care if the Chiefs had Xavier Worthy. Like, they're not stupid. They know the Chiefs wanted wideout. They also knew the Panthers were going to probably draft Xavier Legette. There was a ton of smoke there. Buffalo willingly made those trades. So I don't care about the emotional connection about Worthy. I think Worthy's a fun player in fantasy. There's also downside for him in the sense that, I mean, it sounds like he does what Hollywood Brown does. I know it was a joke, but people have been saying that, and like some Bills fans are crying like the effing sky is falling, and they have the mindset of never ever do you ever trade with the Chiefs ever. Which, like, I get the sentiment, but look, you can, in order to be a winner, you cannot be concerned about someone else. You need to do what you think is best for you. And in this sense, if Buffalo has either a bunch of players tiered correctly, or with the information they had, they knew Coleman would be there, you simply take the extra draft picks. Dylan Lobby still alive? Absolutely, brother. He's alive, right? It's not our favorite landing spot. But should be a pass catching guy. I don't agree with the people hating on Rome. I don't see how Rome is worth that price with DJ Moore and Keenan Allen there. I mean, he's worth the price in the sense that he beats out Keenan Allen. That's how he's worth the price. In general, I will be buying wide receivers who go 9th overall in the real NFL draft and are tied to a quarterback who I can think will throw for nearly 4,500 yards. I want those players. What happens if Keenan Allen rolls his ankle and he gets his AARP card? What happens to Rome then? You cannot draft a season-long best ball and just think you perfectly know the targets and no one will get hurt. And it's like the, how many times do we have to look at how that's flawed thinking? Oh, I'm not going to draft Brandon Ayuk because Debo, CMC, and Kittle is there. Oh, I'm not going to draft Debo because Ayuk, Kittle, everyone, it's about the ability to get a spike week, the ability to turn in a winning score. It's not about season total points. I would love for Rome to continue to fall. And I think people comping Rome to JSN doesn't make any sense. JSN played with a literal stud in college in CJ Stroud, which was an unknown variable of how good Stroud was. And JSN went way later in the draft than I thought he was going to go. He went pick 20. Adunze went pick 9 to a team who had 4 picks in the whole NFL draft and decided, you know what? I'd much rather have Rome than extra picks. That's how good we think this guy is. Yeah, I think the worthy price is not something I'm fully into. I would really only be drafting him currently the way that this guy did it. Like, you take Mahomes and then you just close your eyes and take the Chiefs guys. I really don't know where to throw this 6th pick. I don't really feel weak anywhere. I mean, we could take Jerry Rice's kid. Just the poll now reads no. Oh man. We're taking Rasheen Ali. Seahawk. Is Amir White a third rounder come August? Jesus, man. August would do that though. That was our 9th best ball mania. We ended up with the 2682. Naked Justin Herbert, not my favorite, but what are you going to do? We got Pitts and Kincaid, Brock and Herbert. Herbert, very key, is going to be rushing in 3 touchdowns week 17. CMC, Mostert, Jerome Ford, Antonio Gibson, Will Shipley, Rasheen Ali. Mike Evans, Deebo Samuel, DeAndre Hopkins, Christian Watson, Khalil Shakir, Xavier Leggett, DeMarcus Robinson, Wan'Dale Robinson. Very key to get that Robinson connection. And yeah, I would love to do another draft, and I probably would most nights, but not tonight, guys. Not tonight. Please make sure you do subscribe. Appreciate everyone for watching this. As soon as I end this, please leave a comment. It helps the engagement. How many NFL teams will you draft before the schedule is released? I'll answer that later for you, Dave. Good question. Not too many more, though. Probably 15 to 20. I feel good about the market, though. All right, guys, that's what I got. I'll be back tomorrow with the draft, and I'm releasing my best ball site. I hope it will be the best ball site out there. I know it will be, so I'm working hard on it. Have a great day /night. See you tomorrow.